Hello guys and welcome back to another UCL Fantasy video. Today I'm going to present to you a wildcard draft for the upcoming Matchday 4. We're going to go through fixtures, through the table, because it's pretty important to focus on the table to see where we can get an upside, because we need to know what the standings are looking and which teams that are good are probably going to push up until the end to get out of groups. If you enjoy the content and want to see more, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's completely for free and you'll be helping me reach my goal of 5k subscribers. I'm so close and I'm very hopeful that I can reach it until the end of the year. Now let's go and manage our team. Speaking about managing your team, a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Futium. Futium is a football management game where you own your own club and you compete against other real managers in a league system with promotions and relegations. What I like the most about this game comes down to three main things. First and foremost, I enjoy the absolute control you have over your team. You can change everything in that team. You can pick a formation out of this list. It's an enormous list and you can experiment with your squad. You can select a captain based on the team morale. You can improve team chemistry in order for the teams to have a good mentality. And speaking about mentality, you can go as defensive as prime Jose Mourinho, or you can go ultra attacking as Arne Slot and forget about defending. Secondly, the league system is brilliant. You can start in Division 8 and climb your ranks up to Division 1. And while climbing, you can earn some real life money. Lastly, it's very low commitment. You can just go and spend about 30 minutes per day on this game and you can be very competitive. You can lock your team and leave it for the whole season and it can play, and in the end you can still earn those rewards. If these things sound good to you, don't hesitate and follow the links down in the description and you can start building your team right now. So looking at our team at the moment, I think I'm in a good position, but of course we're going to start from scratch. First of all, we are going to discuss the table because the table looks a little bit interesting in my eyes and I think we need to discuss several things about it. First of all, the teams that are on the top of the side, I think that PSG and Bayern Munich, Inter and Arsenal are, and Real Madrid, you can even add to at least these 5 teams, are basically going to reach the next round as a top 8 team. I really do believe it. Dortmund and Newcastle, I think, are going to drop down in favor of some other teams, but especially with some fixture runs, I think those are the teams that are going to be in that bracket. Of course, even if they don't reach top 8, top 16 is there. And I think that many teams would like to push up until top 24. And here in the bottom of the list, we have several teams that I don't think their place is there. I'm talking about Benfica, I'm talking about Leverkusen, and I'm talking about Juventus. They're all with 2 points, and Union is the next team with 3 points up ahead. I think that Juve, in particular, with the fixtures that they're having, is going to have a nice run. Leverkusen, a little bit of a tough fixture run, but I still believe Leverkusen are going to do it. And of course, in my eyes, Benfica are going to do it. Who will drop? In my eyes, Union, Bruges, and probably Karabakh will soon drop out of the equation. But this is the table that I wanted to discuss. So Juve, Leverkusen, and Benfica are probably teams that I would like to take a look at in any particular moment. Removing the team as a whole, I want to make something clear here. I'm going to prepare a wildcard draft based solely on the fact that you don't have a limitless. In my draft, you've used your limitless. If you want to prepare a wildcard draft that you still have the limitless chip, just prepare for any week apart from one in particular. Don't use the limitless in game week 8, Matchday 8, sorry. You can use it in 5, 6 or 7, but just prepare your team based on that. I am preparing a team based on their fixtures up until the end. Personally, I know that looking at some of the players, in particularly Yamal from Barcelona, they have Bruges, Chelsea, Frankfurt, Slavia Praha and Copenhagen. I feel like that is a very nice fixture run for their team. So I will be starting by putting in some Barcelona players in. Of course, you can do transfers and you can adjust players, but when you use your wildcard, you need a solid baseline, and I think that baseline for you is going to be Barcelona. For me, Baude and Yamal are the two players that are catching my eye. Of course, if you can afford Kunde, go for him, but I think Baude 4.9 and Yamal 9.9 makes a nice double here. Of course, Rafi is back. Rashford is in good form. Pedri though is injured, so it gets a little bit tougher. Frank with Pedri, I think is the only midfielder that's worth it. Of course, Fermin Lopez is now worth it as Pedri is out, and I think he'll be getting more and more minutes. But if you want neones from one team, and that team being Barcelona, I think that Yamal and Baude are a nice pair to have. Moving then to another team with a very nice fixture run for basically the end up until Matchday 8, but you care mostly about Matchday 4, 5 and 6 because 7 and 8 are after New Year's Eve and you can make adjustments then. But Athletic, then Marseille are scoring, but they're conceding, so that's interesting. Take a look. Leverkusen the same and PSV the same. So here, when seeing that team, I would personally go for Anthony Gordon in midfield, and I will return Burn. I think that Burn is a very nice asset to have. Another double up from another team with a very nice fixture run up until the end. Now, discussing the teams that we already mentioned, I'm going to talk about Atletico Madrid, and let's go and select Alvarez for example to see how the teams are looking. Union, Inter, PSV, Galatasaray, Bodo Glimt. Yes, you need some Atleti players in, and the player that I would put immediately in my team is Julian Alvarez. Union, PSV, Galatasaray, yes, it's away, and then Bodo, who says no in that department. I think that that's a nice core to begin with. Of course, I'm missing expensive players because Harry Kane, for example, let's discuss Bayern Munich. They have now 2 tough fixtures, and I would probably bet against him if I were you. The player with good fixtures on the horizon is Erling Haaland. The only bad fixture is in 6, which is understandable. So Erling Haaland is another player that I think is a necessity on that wildcard. Now, let's go and see the keeper situation, because we need players from different teams that are having different teams on different days. So Arsenal is a prime target for a keeper in my eyes. And then we look for, so Chelsea. I will look for Chelsea. I will look for Marseille, because I think that Marseille are having a very nice fixture run. Yeah, Atalanta, Newcastle, Union, Liverpool is hard, but it's not the end of the world. So Marseille, Raya, Inter keeper is here. But that's going to be a very expensive combo if I go for Inter. So let's focus on Chelsea, Newcastle, because I can scratch off Burn. Another team with a good run and a good defense. Vicario is here. So Spurs. Let's see now next week. So Spurs play here. Newcastle play on a different day. Chelsea is a little bit harsh here. And Spurs are playing PSG. Arsenal are playing here. Chelsea are facing Barcelona as mentioned. Juve, what about Juve? They're playing on the same day as Arsenal. Marseille and Newcastle are the only 2 teams currently that I would like to take a look at. Then we go to Marseille, and they play on a different day to Arsenal. Newcastle, they play on the same day. So for now it's Marseille, and here, yeah, it's Marseille that is going to happen. So the keepers are easy. Now we go with Raya and we go with Rulli. I think a nice pair. Probably you'll be using Raya most of the time, but I think that's a nice start to add an Arsenal defender. Speaking about an Arsenal defender, I think that you need at least one more. And for me, that one more is going to be Gabriel for your team. Another defender, another solid defensive option. We are almost done with the team just by picking good players. I wanted to take a look at Benfica's fixtures. So Pavlidis, Leverkusen, Ajax, Napoli, Juve, Real Madrid. Speaking about Juve, by the way, I think that this makes sense as well. Sporting, Bordeaux, Benfica, Monaco. Welcome, can you this under Luciano Spalletti. Galatasaray is some team that I would like to take a look at. Ajax, Union, Monaco, and you can sell. So, welcome Victor Osimhen to the team. And now we're almost done, guys. Look how fast the team builds itself. Paixão is a player that I think I would like to have back because he's cheap, he's reliable, and he has a nice fixture on Atalanta. Newcastle, yeah, it's okay defensively. Then Union, then Liverpool, but Liverpool are conceding, and then you have Bruges. But you can always do transfers. And now we need to pick 3 players with a mediocre or a good fixture run. Let's see Grimaldo. Grimaldo is tough, so I would consider 7 and 8 for Grimaldo. I have Arsenal, I have Yamal. Let's look at captains now. Matchday 4, we have Barcelona and City on the same day. We have Arsenal, though, you can risk it with Gabriel. Okay, that's fair. Then you have Barcelona and City, you can risk with City, and then you go to... Ooh, that's an interesting predicament. I need a captain for this fixture run, but it's a little bit tough to decide on a captain on that run, to be fair. Right now, probably Alvarez is going to be a good option. Then you go to 6. We have Barcelona versus Frankfurt, and then you have City versus Real Madrid. Juve versus Pafos, though, so you're sorted. Yeah, I think that's a good run to cover. But yeah, Alvarez, Haaland, Osimhen, Paixão. Let's see the defenders. I would say that PSG defender is a little bit hard to pick, but it's still PSG, and yeah, I'll be returning him because he's the cheaper option, and I think that we can get away with it. Now let's go and pick players based on their performances so far. Dumfries, yeah, I would probably consider bringing back Dumfries because even though they have, but they have a tough fixture run, I would say not, probably. Van den Ven, how is it? Copenhagen, PSG, but PSG on which day it is? On Matchday 5? It's on day 2, so it's a little bit tough to rotate around, but then Slavia Praha. It's interesting. Ben Sabiani is a nice shout. They play on the second day this week versus City, which is not something that I would like to have. Okay. Oh, sorry. I think I've got my player that I want for sure. I think McTominay is an interesting shout. Frankfurt, Karabakh, Benfica, Copenhagen, Chelsea without KDB. I think McTominay makes sense here. And probably Dumfries. Even though the fixtures are hard, I think Dumfries is a necessity. And I've got a team. And this is the wildcard that I will present to you guys. If you're not having any other chips for me, that's as solid as it gets. It's good. You have penalty takers here. You have Gordon as a penalty taker. You've added McTominay, Yamal, good players in a particularly okay form. Here we have Ajax, Union, Monaco. It looks nice. It looks very nice. If you ask me, Game Week 7 it's hard, but who cares about Game Week 7? It's so very far away. The issue is that they play away. So I don't know how good they are going to be away. But still, Alvarez is in a nice position. Yeah, we have a lot of stability. So this is the wildcard draft. Hopefully you enjoy it. On Monday, I will be dropping my team selection video. I will be trying to adjust my team and bring in some players. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. All of your help is very, very much appreciated. And all of your support. Once again, special shout out to the Futium, who are my sponsors of this video. So yeah, go and check them out, and I hope to see you very soon with more UCL and fantasy content. And don't forget, there is going to be a deadline stream for the upcoming Matchday 4, so be prepared, we will be there. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye!